not everyone is going to find Corporate Natalie funny. There are so many people that have no idea what corporate America is like wouldn't get the joke at all. There's a ton of people that just wouldn't find my vocal intonations fine. It's like, that's fine. It's like with dating, it's like, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I don't know. I'm just like, that's been so liberating knowing it's like, not everyone's going to like you. And that's totally okay.
All right, Natalie, hello. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
We're going to intro it just so everyone who doesn't know you can get to know you a little. When you're at a party, someone asks you what you do, what do you say?
I say 4 things because I can't be concise with anything. I say creator, content creator, which I used to be a little like bashful or shy about initially, but now I am proud of it and have grown to love that. I say content creator, advisor. I advise early stage companies. Consultant. I do a lot of consulting work with other creators and influencers trying to build their brands. And entrepreneur founder. I founded a company late last year with my roommate that pairs virtual assistants with creators and influencers looking to grow their business. So those 4 things. And then at that point, the person I'm talking to holding their beard, I'm like, I'm going to go. I'm done. I don't need no further questions. So yeah, that's the whole thing.
So tell us a little bit about how you got there. I mean, you were working a corporate job during COVID. You started this TikTok, and what's happened since?
Yes. Well, I think I've learned that growing a following is something that a lot of brands and early stage companies want to do. So while I'm excited about the content creation and follower growth for myself, my ultimate goal is to help companies do it and apply it to other creators and see if the processes I've built can apply to other settings. So I've grown up in Silicon Valley, always been super around startups, entrepreneurial. So the advising side of it comes from just this passion for startups and founders and that kind of culture. So I think with growing a following, I immediately was one, how do I build a business for myself out of it? Of course, monetize all that stuff. I'm super corporate at my core, salesperson at heart.
You live up to the name. It's good.
And
Corporate Natalie.
Yeah, that of course. And then also how can I advise others and become more of that kind of thought leader in the space and see if it's something that can apply elsewhere.
Yeah. So I want to know though, how was it? So you post this video on TikTok. I think it was your realistic day in a life that kind of blew up during COVID. Did you expect for what has happened now to ensue? I mean, what has it been like?
No, of course not. It's everywhere. Every time I'm at some event party, in LA, I was at the Golden Globes. I have no idea why. Must have been a mistake somewhere.
Casual.
But, super casual. Anytime I'm doing these things, I'm I was just sitting at my work from home desk with the back of my chair hitting my bed and miserable during COVID, so many of us. And then I just kind of took it and ran with it. I think with content creation and virality and all that stuff, it's if you do it, you can't just do one video, right? And you'll be famous or whatever. It's you have to stick with it and you'll fail and you'll keep failing. But I think I just I caught the bug almost of content creating. I downloaded TikTok. I was I want to create on this app, and I did, and it was fun.
Okay, so the point of the show is everyone's dying to know what Corporate Natalie's best piece of advice she's ever gotten is.
Yes, best piece of advice, and people say this all the time, but work smarter, not harder. I think especially when you're early in your career, you're so focused on I want to be online and active 24/7. My status on Slack needs to be green on the weekends. Everyone's watching me. I want to work the hardest, be the last one in the office. I was just working so hard, so many hours, and it sort of gets to a point of, for what? You're not even productive at your 100th hour of the week. And I think when I got that advice, it was I learned how to outsource things that aren't my core competencies. I think now with building a business, things that, of course, Corporate Natalie is my face and it's so tied to that. And I need to be there to make the videos. I can't just have a sub in for a couple of videos. People wouldn't follow that. Wouldn't make sense. I've learned to outsource the editing, outsource the posting, the DMs, things that don't need to be me to make my life better and allow me to be smarter and having more time to create and stuff like that. So I think it's applied in my corporate life and now my content life in a lot of ways.
I love that. I think that's something everyone could learn a lot about. I think a lot of people have control issues and they want to control everything, but you only have so many hours in a day and
Especially
it's
when
just
it's
not productive.
Yeah, to all the content creators out there, it's like you think you have to do it all, but you don't. And that's what like the business I built is trying to do, is to help with the like administrative burden. Like you don't need to be responding to all the emails. You don't need to be, it's like you're there to create and do that. I think that can apply to a lot of areas of life.
I love that. Do you have a best piece of advice that you've gotten in your personal or romantic or relationship world that you've always remembered?
I think just like something that I've become more comfortable with is just like being myself. And I think especially like women, it's like you put on this kind of like show, or like you're trying to act like, whether it's more ladylike or more like I want to be likable in this setting. And I think there's of course like be respectful and, be kind to others around you. But I've learned, and I think like advice I got was just to like be myself. You get that advice at all times from every social media outlet anywhere. But I think I've learned in applying that now that I'm just a better, more confident, more like comfortable with myself person. And yeah, whether it's like romantically or with friends or with like on meetings or in podcasts, it's like you can only put on such a show. It's like if you just lean into the person you are, people will love that.
I think that's beautiful. I guess the next question is to flip this and say, what advice would you give to someone who's where you were, let's say now, I guess 3 years ago, who's looking to start a TikTok, start a side hustle, do something they haven't done before? What would you tell them?
I would say a couple things. I think primarily lead with being a content creator. This is specifically to like people wanting to grow a following on social media, let's say. Lead with wanting to create content, be a content creator, and then an influencer second. I feel like offer first and then you can sell. That's with business too. It's like you have to give to receive. I think a lot of people say, like young kids especially, like I want to be an influencer, I want to be a YouTuber, whatever, which is awesome and like great. I think it starts to feel ingenuine when you aren't just like creating to create. Like Corporate Natalie started out of like boredom. Like we're all sitting here in our offices. I'm like making these funny videos that I'm proud of and don't care if they get 0 views. And I think there's a lot of pressure of like with like side hustle culture and all this stuff. I gotta be an influencer and monetize and do paid partnerships. It's like you can just be a content creator. And then kind of when it starts with that passion, the influencing or the business building or all these things will come. So that would be my advice to anyone trying like at that stage of like, I want to create content, let's say, or like I want to be an influencer, wherever it may be, would be to just create.
I love that. I think that's really beautiful. You talked about some of your best advice on a more personal level was to be yourself. And I'm just wondering, has there been a time you think that was most formative to you feeling comfortable, being confident with yourself? Were you always like this?
No, oh my gosh. I used to like edit my photos and, just I would have never posted like a video on a social media platform with 0 makeup. I don't really know how it happened or why it happened. And like perhaps it was kind of the COVID haze of like I just changed personalities entirely. But I just I became confident and comfortable with that. I think like for me, it was like a lot of, I still love putting makeup on and stuff, but like posting without makeup was like a big step for me. And I remember being like, oh my God, what is going on? And no one cares. Like you're fine. And yeah, I think I get asked a lot, like, how are you confident? Can you teach confidence? I think it's really hard to teach for sure. But it's like, it starts with just like loving yourself. Like I love Corporate Natalie, the brand I've built. I'm very proud of it. I don't ever, I'm so thankful that it happened. And I think that's, that helps. It's not like there's no part of it that I'm ashamed of or feel like I should be hiding. And I think that's important when you have a platform. It should be something that it truly is you.
Yeah, I love that. You said something that I think about a lot, which is that no one cares. Like no one actually cares as much as you think they do.
Yep.
I have seen that so much in my own experience with social media. do you have like more examples of that being true? Because I think that that is like a universal truth of the world that people just don't care as much as you think they do.
Well, no one cares. It's like, and just like time moves on. Like if you make a video that's, people are worried to make a video that fails. Like on a platform like TikTok, it's fine. You make 5 more videos, they forget about it, you can delete it. Like, I think, of course, if you're saying something offensive and you need to right your wrongs, that's a worry, of course. But like failure is something that we just as humans are so afraid of. But social media, you fail all the time. So like just accepting that. Like I posted a video today, I got not like, barely any views. And I'm like, whatever, I kind of think it's funny. Maybe it'll spike later. It's just like putting that kind of pride to the side and just realizing it's like no one's watching you. There's no one. I mean, there probably are people like monitoring my account, looking like fans, but that's fine. I mean, if you want to watch the videos, do it. I don't know. It's just like something when you're creating for you, it's like whatever, no one's watching. It's like when you're walking with your tray in the cafeteria and you're so scared in high school, all the seniors look at me. No, they're not. I was not cute. They promised they weren't looking.
It's so true though. I mean, like we were saying at the beginning of the interview, like, oh, I get so nervous posting anything about my private life, or even just at the beginning, I think you just get nervous posting anything. You just want people to like it. You want that validation. And you just realize like the things that you focus on in your life, people just don't even think twice about. And I think there's a very similar commentary. You're talking about like as women, like being ourselves, and especially the way we look, we just obsess over things that no one thinks about. I don't know if you've ever gotten like rude comments on your videos, or I mean, they all are just hilarious to me and I just love them all. So I actually don't look through the comments, but have you had experiences with people being super critical?
Oh, of course. Of course. I think like there's one side of like, there are some men who just hate women in comedy, and that's totally fine. Like they just maybe don't follow me, but there's that side of like, oh, you're not funny, which is fine. There's also like appearance stuff, or my voice is super low and raspy. Like there are just things that people comment on or feel the need to comment on. And it's just like you move on. For every, 99 amazing affirmative comments, there's one bad one, and that's okay. It's okay to me.
How do you move on from those? Do you have tips for everyone else getting those?
I mentioned it before, but just if you're leading with some like positivity, I think there are a lot of creators who like I follow and secretly love, but like their platform is built to maybe rip on others or tear other people down or use humor and like kind of weaponize humor in a way. That's like, I think that's not, while I'm making fun of general corporate stuff, like Bruce isn't a real person. I'm not like hurting anyone and like individually. As long as I know that, I'm not hurting like an individual or like a certain demographic of people or, any group of people in that way. Personally, I feel confident that it's like, okay, I can take it from myself. That's fine. You don't think it's funny? That's great. And knowing that like not everyone is going to find Corporate Natalie funny. There are so many people that have no idea what corporate America is like wouldn't get the joke at all. There's a ton of people that just wouldn't find my vocal intonations fine. It's like, that's fine. It's like with dating. It's like, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I don't know. I'm just like, that's been so liberating knowing it's like, not everyone's going to like you. And that's totally okay.
I love that. I think that should be the rule of social media is no one cares. And also not everyone's going to like you. And that is okay.
Go for it.
Yeah. And honestly, no one would go viral or get big if they didn't put that aside and just like you did, decide to go for it.
Totally. And any publicity is good publicity, right? A comment's a comment. Okay.
It's so true. Pushes the algorithm no matter what, whether it's good or bad.
Bring them in. Let's go.
Yeah. Bring them in. I love it. Well, tell everyone, all the listeners, what is next for you? What projects could we be excited for? What's going on in your world?
Yes. So I am working. I've been saying this recently on like podcasts and interviews because I just want to like hold myself accountable to do it. But I'm working on potentially writing a show. I kind of want to like work on more long form comedy, in a way of applying like what I've learned in the short form style to like kind of a episodic series thing.
Oh my
So
gosh. How exciting.
long form content, YouTube videos, I don't know. But something with like more of a plot. So working on writing, doing a little more writing like behind the scenes. And then just, continue to follow the videos. I think there's a lot on the horizon. I'm doing a little more speaking. So if you're ever in the town where I'm at, I'm like doing kind of across the country, some speaking Q&A style stuff, talking about brand building and content creation and all that stuff. So if you're around, want to meet in person, that's kind of a new side of the business we're doing. And then just keep chugging along.
How exciting. You said you also have a company, you and your roommate have a company for virtual assistants?
Virtual assistants. If you are a creator influencer who's like, I am so just overwhelmed by the burdens of like emails or even posting across platforms, responding to DMs, comments, anything that you're like, it doesn't need to be me doing this. I need help. We pair people wanting kind of like a side hustle who most of them work corporate jobs right now and just do this as like a contractor on the side. And will have like interest in the creator space with creators based on like similar interests, good vibes, there's like interviews. And then they just work with you and help you kind of lift that administrative burden. So it's called Expand VA, Expand Virtual Assistant.
I love it.
That's what we do. So if you're interested in either side of that, DM me, reach out.
Beautiful. Yeah. So take Natalie's best advice, work smarter, not harder, and get a virtual assistant. That is the call to action today.
Absolutely. Get a virtual assistant. You want some side income.
Yeah. Or become one. True. Yeah. Either way, man, she's got some good tips here, people. I thank you so much. Tell people where to follow you on social in case they aren't already, which you should be.
We're trying to, we've heard rumblings of, where will TikTok be in a few years. But follow me on TikTok, Corporate Natalie, Instagram, Corporate Natalie. We're on YouTube now, Corporate Natalie, LinkedIn. You get some long form written posts from me if you're interested in that at all. And Twitter, if you want my kind of random short thoughts. Twitter is Corp Natalie. All the rest are Corporate Natalie.
Beautiful. Well, also in case people don't know, Corporate Natalie has amassed over 500,000 followers on TikTok and Instagram. This is not a small account, so if you're not on the boat, get on it. She's incredible. The videos are funny and heartwarming and super relatable if you've ever had a corporate job. So thank you so much for joining us, Natalie. We were so excited to hear what you had to say, and it was wise per what I thought it would be. And to all of our listeners, thank you for listening to The Shift.